Coaches, whichever one you want to start, talk a little bit about the assessment of your team through 8 games.
Offensively, we've kind of, we've started out a little bit slower, I think, than we were hoping for. But the thing about it is, I think we're progressing. Anytime you got a new quarterback, you don't expect it, but in a way, you kind of expect you're going to have some bumps and bruises along the way. And I think that he's getting a little bit more comfortable with what we're doing, and he's progressing. That's been the big key for us offensively, is just getting him used to the system and comfortable with the system. I think the offensive line has played well. We've been able to run the ball behind them. The running backs have played really well. And then the biggest thing with Mikael is, having an opportunity to run him a little bit and make him an 11th guy on the field, and make defenses try to defend an 11th guy. So, overall, we're not exactly setting the woods on fire, but we are progressing week in and week out, and that's all we can ask for right now.
Defensively, I think we're trying to and finally kind of found our identity against certain personnel groups. Early in the year we were trying to play some sub personnel versus the spread offenses, and especially the one where there's 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, and we were giving up a lot of yards running the football against that personnel group. So we've kind of switched over the last 3 weeks and started playing our base personnel on neutral downs against them, and only putting in our sub package on 3rd down. So as that's happened, I think it's made us be a little more confident, be a little more sturdier against the one-back runs.
Where have you seen the most improvement from when you first got here as defensive coordinator to now, 8 weeks in terms of the defensive unit as a whole?
Well, I think just being a little bit more consistent. First of the year, we were kind of feast or famine. I mean, I go back to the Missouri game, and there's plays where we're tackling them at the line of scrimmage or in the backfield. We got pressure on the quarterback, had him scrambling around, and then we'd turn around and not line up right. And then, Joseph has split our safeties, and headed to the end zone. And, so just being consistent of getting lined up in the proper spot, and adjusting to any type of shifts or motions that, you can't practice it all. So you have a set of rules that, hey, I'm supposed to line up on 2 weak or 3 strong, whatever it is being able to identify those people and getting lined up correctly.
It seems like the defensive backs and the safeties have been a really important part of what you guys have been doing. They've been playing really well in a veteran group by now.
They are. There's 4 seniors and a redshirt, or a sophomore, true sophomore. And we've been able to roll them. Some of them are better versus the pass than they are versus the run, and just trying to make sure that in those situations that we're able to get them in a situation that they can be the most successful at. And they've been really well. That's where most of our adjustments come out of, is they come out of the secondary.
I know you guys have been banged up on that side of the football with some injuries and things like that. How important is the bye week to get some of those guys healthy?
Well, it's very important. I mean, not only from just a physical standpoint, but a mental standpoint. Those guys they're tired of me talking to them and yelling at them and the other coaches, and they need a break and to get away from that, just to re-energize, and but just getting some of those guys back and getting them 100%, so that we can have them play the amount of downs that we need them to play in a ball game.
Mitch, can you talk about the transition with Mikael, the things you guys have had to do different with him at quarterback as opposed to?
Sure. The biggest thing we've had to do is just simplify. When you got a kid that's in the system for 3 years, you can add some things, you can put more on him, because there's a comfort level. Me and Casey, we were around each other for 3 years. So by the time he was a senior and he was on his way out, he kind of knew what I wanted to do with the game plan, and I kind of knew what he was comfortable with and not comfortable with. And then all of a sudden, when you get a new guy in, you have to find that comfort level, and that's what we're trying to do. Each week when I meet with Mick, there's a lot of things that that we used to do very well that is not even in the game plans anymore, not even in the offense anymore, because he just, he told me, hey, coach, I don't like that read. I don't know what you're trying to get me to do or whatever. And I think that's the biggest key with him is hey, let's cut the fat, let's cut the things that you don't like, because if you don't like them, I'm not going to like them because they're not going to be successful, and let's build on the things that you do like. And I give credit to him. He's been man enough so far to sit in that room and tell me, hey, coach, I don't know that, I don't like that, I don't know that. Let's cut that. Whereas a lot of them will go, no, I like that, I'm good with that, I know what to do. And then you watch them on film, and you're going, you don't have a clue. And he's been very good with that. So it's just I'm trying to find that comfort level with him. He's trying to find that comfort level with me. And like I said, we're getting there.
Is it by design now that you're more known for passing, but this year you have more rushing attempts than passing attempts?
Yeah, anytime you have a 6'3", 240-pound kid that can walk and chew bubble gum at the same time, you're going to try to do something with him, and he kind of has that presence about him, and that's the thing I like about him is you have to be ready to defend 11th guy, and a lot of times, if you've got a guy that's just going to sit back there and throw it, then it's a little bit easier. I shouldn't say easier, but it's a little bit. It's a little bit easier for a defense to defend because they're only defending 10 dudes. They don't have to worry about that guy. Whereas now, you can kind of see some defenses, they've got eyes on him. They're waiting for him to tuck it and run it. And at the same time, it's good for me because if something's not there downfield, he has the ability to tuck it and run it and make a positive play.
You talk about Walter and just now he's the career leading receiver in Murray State history and just the talent that he is.
That's what he is. He's I will say this about Walter is his is not. He has a lot of God-given ability, but at the same time, he has worked his tail off to get to the point that he's at right now. And I remember when he was a freshman, it seemed like he didn't weigh but about 135 pounds, and he was getting thrown around everywhere. But Buddy Rowe, when he was out there at practice, he was running the whole time, and he still does that to this day. So, tremendous asset to have. I'm glad we got him on our team. I assure you that.
Dennis, can you talk a little bit about the play of your secondary? The team only had 9 interceptions total last year, and now through 8 games, you've got 13 interceptions, and you're one of the top teams in the country in that area.
Well, I think a lot of it goes back to there's a correlation with the front and what they do to what happens in the back end. To sit there and say, it's all about the secondary, it's not. Saturday we got a lot of pressure on the quarterback. We affected him, and what I mean by affecting him was when we were in a zone coverage, we had a 4-man pressure, and they got him moving around in the pocket. I know Darrell Smith's interception was really caused by the front. The guy threw it off his back leg. He was trying to escape up the middle, tried to do a pass he shouldn't have thrown. And so that works together. The same thing is that when, we did blitz, we took the corners, we put 4 corners on the field. They had 4 wideouts, pressed their inside slots so they couldn't throw quick, and made the quarterback hold the ball so that the defensive linemen, we had designated players that we said, hey, they've got enough people to block us because we're going to keep a safety high in the middle of the field in case something happens. And you got to beat this guy. You got to win. And but for him to win, the quarterback just can't get the ball, throw it right now. We got to make him hold the ball to give the guy a chance to win. So it all works together. The secondary has played very well. Especially, like in our zone coverages, with seeing the ball, seeing when it's thrown, being there on an errant pass, where the ball got tipped and we were able to make an interception. And, Josh Manning's got 3, which is great for him.